Well, to be totally honest, I don't have the in-depth part of it done. My staff's been trying to accumulate as much information as possible. I've talked to some people in general, and no surprise here that we've got a very good and very hot, battle-tested club coming in that's on a mission to do something special, just like we are at the University of Oregon. So, somebody sent me a text message from a national publication that's a friend of mine, said we've got a very hot club coming in here to Eugene. I said, oh really? Usually in super regionals the team's barely limping, and so I do know a little bit about their coach. I haven't coached against him. He does a great job, comes from a great program at Georgia Tech. He's been in this environment before, and they almost got it done at the University of Texas last year in a regional, so enough said right there. We've got our hands full, which you would expect in a super regional, whether you're at home or on the road. He's got a group of Warriors that have had a great year, and they're on the crescendo of being very hot, 20 games in a row and winning that regional, so like I said, no surprises there.
Different than a regional, George, but does this much more on the line too, but is this more like a typical Pac-12 weekend where it's two teams, best of three, and you just need to win two of them?
Yeah, that's the advantage of playing in a league like the Pac. Every weekend's similar to this, where you're trying to eke out 2 out of 3, and the stakes go up here and the emotions go up here, and there'll be more fans, and the prize is a little more significant to the players and the emotion and the coaches. So both teams are going to have to deal with the prize, and you can't control the prize unless you do, pitch by pitch, play catch, throw strikes, and put the ball in play. And you do have to kind of keep things in perspective that way. Otherwise, you can get totally out of control and starting to count outs if you're the lucky team that's counting outs, or feel it slipping away and what's at stake. And our objective is just to concentrate on the baseball and playing catch and the target and the defensive signs and the offensive signs. And overstating the obvious, easier said than done, but this group has been pretty focused most of the time. I think the one weekend that really we let it get away serves as a memory that isn't the process that we hope to choose to use this weekend. So we'll see how it goes.
You mentioned focusing on playing catch, obviously you take care of the ball on defense. How much do you bank on other teams not being able to do that? Do you scout that pretty heavily when no team's struggling for a ball play that they might throw it around?
Yeah, I think a lot of, whether it's a Super Bowl football game or an NBA championship, they talk about the shots that were made and this and that, but I think a lot of those high-profile games are won or lost based on somebody else's mistakes. Fumble in football, maybe an error or a walk, or things that you could have controlled a little bit better. I guess our mission would be to play as good as we can play, throw strikes, win the strike throwing contest, play catch, put the ball in play more frequently than them, which enhances your chances that somebody with a glove doesn't catch it. And if we fulfill our criteria, what a good baseball game is, that gives us the best chance to look up at the scoreboard at the end and get those kind of rewards. Again, easier said than done, but that's always going to be our process. I'm sure Coach Strickland's talking about a faceless opponent, and not stealing Chip's language necessarily, but we've always believed, even where I used to coach at the junior college level, at the 4-year level, that we don't play our opponent. We play the game of baseball, and it's up to them to adjust to us. So that isn't meant to be egotistical or we're better than anybody else, but I think that's the way you play baseball, football, basketball, golf. You don't worry about where Tiger is, you just try to do your job. And so that's the suggestion, and that's been the process ever since I came up here. And the challenge is to maintain that in a very emotional environment.
How do you go about convincing them how important it is to not beat themselves?
We've been doing that since the first meeting in September, talking about this opportunity. We practice for these kind of opportunities. We put a lot of pressure on them in practice, a lot of demands. We practice with a system that includes crowd noise, so you don't have to hear something said from the dugout. So, I've been a spoiled coach, so right from the very first day, our system's all designed to play in these kind of environments. That doesn't mean the players enjoy it or the coaches enjoy it as much, but heck, if we catch ourselves not enjoying this, then why are we practicing so hard all year long?
George, how do you emotions and focus at this point? You're sort of in uncharted waters for the program here. How about that for yourself?
We work on tools, the breathing tools, the relaxation tools, the focus tools, the imagination tools, sports psych tools. We bring a guy that I believe in, Ken Revisa is his name, that's a professor at Cal State Fullerton. I've used him there, and he's working with the Angels now and works with several very productive, nationally prominent baseball programs, including our competitors, UCLA, Long Beach State. And he's given us, both me as one of his colleagues, given us tools to go to. And very unrealistic for me as the coach to say, hey guys, let's just pretend like this is another game. Well, that doesn't offer an athlete or an assistant coach any tools to go to. So we call it being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Okay, what's an example of one of like the imagination or the breathing, or can you give me an example of one specific?
Well, we want to make sure they understand that it's okay to be nervous, and if they catch themselves not being focused, and I call it maybe the pop-up brain, like your pop-up computer, you got too much clutter going on and you're not fine centered on what you need to focus on. Your routine sometimes as a pitcher, when you're nervous and it's 3-2 bases loaded, I have to throw a strike, the saving grace is the breath and your routine that's gives you the best chance to throw a pitch 60 feet 6 inches for a strike. You get in the batter's box and it's bases loaded 3-2, now you get the at-bat. What gives you the best chance to fulfill that childhood dream that you're playing wiffle ball with your brothers and it's always 3-2, bases loaded, 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. I'm hoping that my team takes a wiffle ball approach playing in their backyard against their brother. You don't ever think about failure there. Here, with the cameras on and the crowd and the prize at the end of the rainbow, you think about failure.